Hi, I'm Tara.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
Welcome back to Books and Beyond. On this episode, we spoke to Vivek Tajuja, who's written a memoir called So Now You Know, Growing Up Gay in India. I think that title is self-explanatory.
Yeah, it is. Vivek has been in the book world for such a long time. He's a very famous book blogger, and we wanted to know how he reads so many books in a month.
We found out about that, how he became a book influencer, how he wrote a memoir, did he take notes, did he embellish certain memories? All of these things and much more on the episode.
Welcome to our podcast, Books and Beyond. We are speaking to the most famous book influencer in India, Vivek Tajuja, and he's written this memoir, So Now You Know, Growing Up Gay in India. Welcome, Vivek.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michelle.
I follow your book recommendations and I absolutely love what you have to say about books. So I wanted to know, why did you decide to write this book now?
So I think it wasn't about the time. It was just the timing of the book happened to be right. I think it had been right any time that I had written it. But I just had to get it out of my system. And I won't say and be magnanimous saying that I wrote it because of a better good or a cause or for the community. It just perhaps is the byproduct of that. But I wanted to write it only because I had something to say about my life. And I thought, well, I've lived a Bollywood-esque life, so might as well, bring it out and tell people about
So you've
it.
revealed a lot in the book, Vivek, really painful memories. You've spoken about sexual encounters. So how did you find the courage to reveal it all?
I think it was just because I would speak about it anyway to so many people. So I thought, okay, let me just write it. What will happen? A lot more people will read it, I hope. And the book will sell. I hope it is selling. But I don't know. I think it's just being very honest. I've come to terms with everything. So nothing shocks me. Nothing surprises me. Nothing bothers me. A very thick skin. So yeah,
Wow, that's a really peaceful space to be in.
Yeah.
extremely really.
And so, what was it like, while writing the book? Did you do any research for this book? Did you read other memoirs? Did you read queer literature?
So I always read queer literature, right? Constantly. But not when I was writing my book. I think I kept reading, and even then, but nothing that really influenced me. Because, of course, my story might be similar to a lot of other stories.
So you worried it would influence the voice.
No, and nothing of that sort. Nothing of that sort. And if it would influence, then great, right? I mean, let a better writer influence my voice than a bad writer. So I think that's very important. Even if it influences, it's great. Why not? Let people see traces of somebody else's writing in my writing. I would love that. But it actually didn't happen. So yeah.
So, what was the process of writing the book? Did you write just from memory, or did you have any diaries or notebooks that you had kept at those times?
I love this question, but it was only from memory. I wish there were diaries and notebooks.
Really?
Yeah, I wish there were diaries and notebooks, but there were no diaries and notebooks, sadly. So
Can you give us any tips, because we have really bad memories?
No, my memory is very, very strong when it only comes to me.
Okay.
When it comes to others, it's very weak. I'm like, I don't remember half the stuff.
So how long did it take you to write the book?
It took
Vivek?
me about a year and a half.
So was it like a very continuous process? You wrote every day. What was your routine like?
No, I didn't write every day. And that's why my editor was very upset with me, because I didn't write every day. I took my time. I would laze, I would read, listen to some music, watch a film.
But
And
that's
then-
the creative process, right?
No, it's not. It's just being lazy.
But you do mention.
And procrastinating. I'm the biggest procrastinator that there is.
I think we can all relate to that.
And I love it. I love putting my feet up and doing nothing.
That's
Like
the
if I
best
had a
thing in the
choice,
world.
perhaps even after booking, I wouldn't be here. I'm that sort of a person. I get post-confirming stress.
I
Like, oh my
totally understand
God,
what
why do
you're
I have
saying.
to do this? Why did I say
totally
yes to this?
understand what you're saying.
So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
So no, there was no process really. I mean, I tried to write every day. Sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't. Also, the book has no time span, if you see. It jumps a lot from between one time to another time to another time. But
Yeah,
that's
and we really
also-
like that.
But that's also because I didn't write it keeping a timeline.
Oh, we wanted to ask
In
you
mind.
actually, because it's not chronological. So
Yeah, it's
why?
not chronological.
Yeah.
Because I didn't write it that way. I never thought of my memories as being in chronological order, strangely enough.
And so while you were writing it during the year, did you have any beta readers? Did you exchange drafts with
No,
other?
I don't take kindly to criticism. I think no. Every writer says that we do, oh, give me feedback. I'm not a writer per se, and I don't like criticism.
Why do you call yourself not a writer?
Because I'm
you wrote
not.
a whole book.
Yes, I know, but I'm not. I feel very like when I read other people that I love and admire so much, I can't place myself or call myself a writer.
Oh, the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, am I a fraud? How did I write this book?
No,
then?
you're just being too critical.
No,
We
no,
love the book.
I can be too critical of myself, but if others are too critical of me, I hate that. So I very reluctantly go to Goodreads and then I see like 2 bad reviews or 3 bad reviews and my heart sinks.
Oh.
And then I want to take something hard and throw it at them. I'm being very honest.
Yeah,
I don't take very kindly to criticism.
We rarely hear that from writers.
So I'm like very cautious and I'm like, what did you think of the book? And if somebody says, hey, we loved it, I'm like, yay! So rejection in any aspect of life, I don't take kindly to. So it's as simple as that. So I didn't even give it to beta readers, or I gave it to sort of mediocre readers who couldn't find any faults, or they're not used to reading. They read like 2 books a year. So I'm like, you can read some chapters because you'll love it anyway. So, because your reading, I'm judging perhaps, but your reading is so limited that you might think my writing is very good. But I never gave it to someone whose reading was as diverse, close to mine. Then I would feel like, oh, then that or so now you know that this book is not good enough.
But I think that the book is very accessible, and I like that about the book because it can reach so many more people in that way.
Somebody told me that that my book reads like a Chetan Bhagat novel.
No. When I say
because it is so accessible.
When I say accessible, I just want to put out a
but I'm not
disclaimer
telling you,
that it's
Tara.
not that.
But people have said that. It's not you. And I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, I hope it sells that way then.
But coming to beta readers, since this topic is not, some people may still object to, homosexuality. Were you at any point afraid of the reactions that you may get by putting a book out?
My mother was. I wasn't. My mother was very scared. At that time, she said, oh, somebody from this political party will come home and they will beat you up. Somebody from this political party will say that, to ban this book. I'm like, so isn't that great? If a book is banned, there's no conversation around it.
More people will read it.
Exactly, and they would want it, and it would go. And if a book reaches the underground market, nothing like it. But sadly, nothing of that sort happened. My book is just a speck in the wind, and it just went away.
But I think that fear is natural.
No. My mother's fear, yeah, sure.
Climate.
My parents' fear is natural.
And you've also addressed it in the book very well.
I have forgotten also what I've written. But at no point I was afraid. I wasn't afraid of putting things out there. That I wouldn't be so explicit also, perhaps with my sex life or the way it went and what I felt and so on and so forth.
And, the memories are so vivid. So, and you said that you didn't keep any journals. Did you embellish any memories?
No, none.
Really?
None. So, but the thing with the memoir is that you remember and you write what you write, right? But with a biography or an autobiography, you have to constantly keep checking, researching, looking at facts. But this is your memoir. This is your story. I didn't twist anything. I didn't, make anybody say something that they didn't say. So, yeah, but of course, people's names were changed. And that goes without saying. Some people's names weren't changed.
What was their reaction to being in your book?
I don't think they've read it. So the friend who I fell in love with when I was a kid, his wife has the book now. And she follows me on social media. But I don't think
Did she reach out to you?
No, she didn't. She hasn't. And I don't think the friend either has read the book. But I know for a fact that she owns a copy.
Oh.
So, which is very strange, but it's quite liberating that it's out there. But it's got nothing to do with the friend anyway. Now we are all older, perhaps wiser, and I hope we understand how to live life better.
It was just one part of your life.
It was just one part, and a very minuscule part in retrospect.
Yes. And also, during writing this book, Vivek, did you ever consider quitting? And which was the hardest part about writing the book?
So there was no hard part really. Everything. I would love to say that, it was very hard, it was very cathartic, oh my God, I stopped writing, I cried, I wept, but no. Nothing of that sort happened to me, damn it. I mean, I was like, oh,
It was liberating
It was,
in a way.
no, it wasn't even, it was just there. I had something to say about my life, which I didn't think ever was going to get published to begin with.
Why not?
Because I don't consider myself, forget good, I don't even consider myself an average writer. So I think I have to work on that art of writing and the craft, which will come in the second book, I hope.
But you
And
read
I-
so much, and I mean, you're so much
Exactly.
fodder.
That's why, see, because I read so much, I'm always comparing myself at a very unreasonable standard
Oh, that's a
or
really
an
good
unreasonable
observation.
scale. And I'm like, I want to write like that. So my anguish comes from the fact that I wish I could write like,
As a reader, and I don't identify as a writer either, and I'm very much a reader. I identify with what you're saying because you can
Yeah.
never be at that level.
That
of
complex
course
is
you
always.
can't. Like, I want to be Hanya Yanagihara. I
little
want to be
life.
Anita
Yeah.
Desai. I
Yeah.
want to be Atwood. No, but can I? No, definitely not. But can I be myself and
Of
true to
course.
what I write? Yeah, sure. So that's when it becomes Chetan Bhagat-esque kind of writing. And the Chetan Bhagat memoirist or something.
So, is there another book, Vivek?
Yes, there is.
Oh, is it fiction or
No,
what is
it's again non-fiction.
Oh, what is it
And,
about?
It's about 20 books and 20 men in my life. So I can only say that much.
20 books?
20 books and 20 men.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's again non-fiction.
And when is that coming out?
If all goes well, September, October 2020.
Can't wait
We
to read
can't
it.
wait.
Yeah, can't
So,
wait.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. You say you don't identify as a writer and you do as a reader. And I mean, you are India's most famous book influencer. So how did you start that journey? And how does one become a book influencer?
I don't think I'm a book influencer. I know one thing, that I read books and I talk about it. Now, if anybody has to be influenced or not, that's purely up to them.
I like how casual.
I can't take the horse to the water and say, drink water. I can't do that. But I can talk about the book constantly. My favorites I can quote from. I do giveaways here and there so that people are exposed to literature I think and perceive as good. Now, everybody has a different perception and scale of thinking.
Very subjective.
What is good, what is bad, what is ugly, that's up to them. That's none of my business, really. And there should be no pressure. So I think read what you want to read, really, even if it means that you're reading stuff that other people don't approve of and look down upon and scorn at and make faces at. You still read it because that's your choice, and not let anybody else tell you otherwise. You read and be honest to yourself whether you like the book or not. Talk about it honestly. Don't borrow lines from other people's reviews because it's Google. Hello, we are living in an age of technology. Your plagiarism will get caught like this.
Yeah, and talking about honesty, there are a lot of fake book reviews out there nowadays.
They're book photographers. They're not reviewers.
What about reviews of a book that the readers say is bad, but in newspapers it's sort of got a good review?
Again, different choices,
Subjective.
right? I mean, I think if a reader doesn't connect with it, sure. But if that reader who writes for the newspaper is connected with it, great.
So it's all subjective.
It's entirely subjective. I don't think arts can ever be this objective that everybody has the same opinion about it.
And since you recommend books to people, like we were wondering who recommends books to you?
Nobody. I don't take my recommendations from anyone.
So how do you find out about
except
books?
online. So I go to LitHub, I go to Book Riot, I go to Millions, I go to New York Times, I go to New Yorker. I read a lot about the books that are anticipated, that are forthcoming, small indie presses books that I like to read, different genres, reading diversely. So either constantly I'm reading about books or I'm reading books or I'm talking about books.
So which are your favorite genres?
I love literary fiction. I love a good thriller on a good rainy day when there's thunder and lightning outside.
So which was the last good thriller that you read?
Last good thriller, I read The Silent Patient.
Oh, I've heard a lot
I've read
about
that.
it.
Yeah,
I've
You
it's
read
a
it? Yeah.
great book. It's such a good book. And of course, you won't give away the spoiler, but you must read it. It's a brilliant book. And I just read it last year, so loved it. Yeah.
And you know, you read so many books a month. I just saw on Twitter that you read 13 books
In January.
in
I was very disappointed, sorry, because I'd aimed to read 20. But
How do you do it?
Really?
How do you make the time? Because I know that you also have a day job
Yeah.
and you're a reviewer and all of these other things, and you write your own book. So how do you have the time?
I read everywhere. Like I was reading even now in the elevator when I came up.
Oh, this reminds you of Umberto Eco, actually. He says that, when you're in waiting in a queue or if you're in an elevator, you do not even waste a minute and you just read. Are you like that?
I've become like this over the last couple of years. I have developed this habit. Like I on purpose give people a different time and I reach there earlier so that I am sitting with my book and warming up with the prospect of meeting someone. So by the time I've had a drink, I'm reading, I'm chilling, I'm at ease with myself. I know the person is going to come after an hour. So I have that reading time. Because otherwise it becomes very difficult to make reading time in this city or in today's time and age for that matter.
But do you ever get reading fatigue, Vivek, since you read so much and, every free time that you get, you try to read?
I get reading fatigue, but then that's when I watch a film. That's when I watch a bad film.
And
Like a Karthik Aryan movie.
And what happens when do you ever run out of books or struggle to find your next book, or do you just have a continuous list of things you want to read?
So, it's very interesting how sometimes I also get taken in by what everybody is talking about and what book they are discussing. Like now, I'm waiting to read American Dirt and make my own commentary on it and see whether I like it or not. So that's one book that's there. And at other times, I love going back to books that were published in the past. Like I think with Bookstagram, and nothing to do with Bookstagrammers, but I think the entire culture around Bookstagram is always about new. I got this book from the publisher, I got that book from the publisher, and it's all about new books. But what about the books that you haven't read? What are the books that are collecting dust on your bookshelf?
How do you keep up with that?
How do you keep up with that? So I think there's a good balance that I try and make between old and new. So if there's a challenge, a reading project that I want to take on for myself, then I ensure that they are old writers and to read all their books in this year or most of their books this year. So things like that.
You should try that out.
And do you ever skim read?
No, never.
You never do that?
No, never. I read every word.
And do you ever leave books halfway in the middle?
Oh, lots of times. If I don't like it, I just chuck it. I don't pressurize myself to sit and read that. Because then it makes no sense.
Even I do that, yeah. Do you, Tara?
I do that all the time.
DNF is always there.
DNF.
Did not finish.
Yeah. There's a DNF list on
There's a
Goodreads.
DNF list, yeah.
Yeah. So, coming back to your book, Vivek, what did you discover in the process of writing the book? Did you discover anything new about yourself?
About myself, that I can be brutally honest if I want to be. And that is liberating. To be really very, very honest about.
So did you think that you would be so honest before you started writing the book?
Yeah, I knew that if I had to write something like this, I had to be honest. I could not, just sort of only talk about it on the surface. I'm not going to get into the queer politics in my book, and there's none. Because I'm not talking about it from that perspective anyway. And people have said that to me, oh, why didn't you? Because that's not my place to talk. I don't know enough about it. I know about myself and my life and what I identify as and who I am.
And you can do justice to that.
Yeah, and my sex life, which somehow I have the need to talk about. I don't know why. But I really don't know. My poor editor must be very uncomfortable. And so must be a lot of readers. But yeah, it's there. Now, what can I do? That's what it is.
So what was the best comment that you received from a reader, now that your book is out?
So I think on Instagram, one of the young boys reached out to me saying that he really related. And he loved it, and
that's wonderful.
How that somewhat changed his perspective towards being gay. And I love that. I love when younger people, I won't say young because I'm not old, younger people reach out to me, talking to me about the book and telling me how they liked it or not. Then I just push them in a corner. Then don't come to me if you didn't like it. No, I take feedback, even the negative one, but not too kindly perhaps.
And is there anything that you hoped that your book would accomplish?
Yeah, give me more royalty. Pay me.
We didn't expect that.
Yeah, I really, because after all that writing and selling and great reviews in newspapers, all that is great. But get nominated for some award, do something in your life. I keep telling the book every day, I'm its parent and it's my child, right? वो शर्मा जी के बेटे को देखो, see how where he's gone and look
That's
where
so
you
funny.
are. You are still there. You useless memoir. Look at literary fiction doing so well, getting awards, getting nominated everywhere. Maybe I should write fiction for that.
Are you thinking of writing
Yes,
fiction?
I am.
Do you have an idea?
Yes, I do.
Are you working on it?
Yes, I am.
So when can we see it in
Maybe
bookstores?
2021. I hope.
But that's great.
If
yeah.
all goes well and if I find a publisher for it, then 2021.
And what was the journey like towards getting this published?
Very easy, because I worked with Flipkart for 6 years. And I knew publishers before that anyway because of the reviewing and reading. So getting in touch with publishers wasn't a problem. Pitching the idea wasn't a problem. So nothing, really, I've had it easy. And I'm glad that I've had it easy, and touch wood. And not everybody does. So I've been very lucky that way. But the writing process is still tough. You still have to sit and do the entire ritual of writing Om on the laptop. No, I didn't do all that. but you just have to sit and write. And with 2 cats at home, it's a big problem to just sit and write because they don't let you be.
Yeah, so you speak somewhere about Giovanni's Room
Yes.
and how it was a sort of sexual awakening for
Yes.
you. So, like, what would you like to talk about the book?
So I think, here's the deal. I'm not mentioning in the book, or maybe I have, but I think I felt so alone in college that I was the only gay boy in the village. Like I was just thrown there, and in my head, everybody else was straight because nobody else had come out, or nobody was coming out or making eye contact or giving me a hint or so on and so forth. And you're raging with testosterone, you're raging, your hormones are all over the place. You don't know what to do with them. So then I read. As always, I found solace in books, and Giovanni's Room was the first queer fiction that I read, and I fell in love with it, with the writing of Baldwin and everything that he had to say about relationships and love and heartbreak and angst and all of that. So I think it made a very big impact.
So, who recommended that book to you? How did you discover it?
I discovered it just by chance in the college library. That's it. It just came. I think it was meant to come to me
Yeah.
to read. Yeah.
That's
I
always the
believe-
best way to discover a book.
Yes, I agree.
So, what is your writing routine like? Do you have a word count that you want to write per week? What do you do?
There's no writing routine. If I sit and write, I write like 4,000 words a day if I want to. It's just about getting my mind in order and sitting and writing.
And what is your support system like while writing this new book, or even for for your memoir? Do you have a support system?
Oh no. People are too busy amongst themselves to support anybody. And the same goes for me. I know, because we are living in an age, sadly, where we claim to be empathetic and kind, which is great, which we are, and yada, yada, yada. But I also think to a very large extent, we are very selfish. And social media and our phones don't allow us to be selfless. Like imagine
agree.
getting anxiety and stress and jumping out of your skin just because your phone rings. I mean, you must be so shallow, dude, that you can't handle a phone call.
I feel bad now.
And you think you're so confident? No.
But I love your honesty.
What
I
if
mean-
somebody's trying to reach out? Like if a support system, if I'm writing and I want to reach out
You're
to
right,
someone
yeah.
in terms of research or just have a conversation to make myself feel nice before I write, it's not there. It doesn't exist. And you can't blame anyone. I'm not angry or upset that that the support system isn't there. But I think that's the unfortunate because the times we are living in are like that.
So, do you have any advice for aspiring writers?
Just write. Don't think about social media marketing before you've written the book or how I'm going to get a publisher. Everybody keeps asking that.
Yeah, writers usually jump the gun.
Yeah, I'm like,
instead
but
of
if you don't
writing.
write, how will you get a publisher? Finish your book, have a middle, start, end, and then your publisher will find you. You don't have to find the publisher.
And since you spoke about, the thriving contemporary Indian, fiction scene, like which are the top 3 books that come to your mind that are really good?
In Indian fiction,
Yes.
So I absolutely love In Custody by Anita Desai.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
yet to
the-
read it.
I'm not read
I
that.
love The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. I love, so there's a translation, Zindagi Nama by Krishna Sopti.
Oh, I haven't
No,
heard of
even
that.
I
Yeah,
haven't.
it's a great book. And what others do I love? I love Cobalt Blue by Sachin Kundalkar.
I was just going to say that. I love that book.
I love Mahesh Zitani's plays. So there's so many. I love A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. But more than A Suitable Boy, I love An Equal Music, which is not really Indian because it's set in Britain. And
Yes.
so I love that. I love Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie, of course. They're the classics. I love them, which are now modern classics
Right.
in a way.
Okay, so what is your family's reaction like now to your book, Vivek?
My mother liked it. My sister is yet to read it.
Is she not a reader?
No, she has not read my book yet because she says she has other books to read before getting to my book. So I'm
I
like,
like
cool,
that.
that's fine.
Yeah.
My aunt read the first chapter and she's like, oh, I wept. I couldn't carry forward. I couldn't read ahead. I'm like, okay, whatever. My cousin read it, no response. So these are the only people who've actually skimmed or read it. So yeah, four people in my family have read my book. So, and if the others have, they haven't told me anything about it. So I'm guessing, yeah, whatever. I don't know whether they liked it or didn't like it.
So, you're so active in all social media. So I'm wondering, and maybe for this book, did you ever get trolled and how did you deal with it?
No, I didn't get trolled. The minute I
Do you
saw a
get
hint,
trolled for-
oh yeah, I just blocked them. I read
You
the,
never engaged
I read
with
the
them.
tweet. No, I never engage. I block or I mute. Mainly block. I like the idea that they know that I've blocked them and they can be upset or do anything, but they can't reach out to me.
Oh, that
And
makes sense.
if I want to meet one troll in real life and point my finger at his face and laugh out loud, that hey, you.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to do it online.
No, I just want to do that. I want to troll him or troll them in real life. And I'm not saying this from the perspective of being a bully, but I just want them to have a taste of their own medicine in real life and to see how it feels.
So, Vivek, since you've read so much queer literature, like we would love to have some recommendations from you.
Okay, so A Boy's Own Story by Edmund White. There is The Man Who Fell in Love with the Moon by Tom Spanbauer. There is Cobalt Blue, of course, by
I've
Sachin
read Cobalt
Tendulkar.
Blue.
There is The Golden Gate, which is bisexual. It has a bisexual sort of parallel narrative. So that there's this book called Same Sex Love, which is edited by Ruth Vanita. So yeah, to my mind, these for now.
So, there's a lot of now, LGBTQ characters presented on OTT platforms. So what do you think of how they're portrayed?
So I liked Made in Heaven. I like Arjun Mathur's character.
Same here.
Yeah, so I like that. Though his gay was subdued and more straight than gay, but that's okay. I like that how it finally he came out of the closet or people already knew and how suddenly, but the drastic shift of him being closeted to suddenly becoming an activist was a little much, I thought, but I liked it nonetheless. I thought that was a good, strong narrative. There was Romy and Jugal, which was done by Ekta Kapoor's Balaji. Alt Balaji did it. A gay love story based after Romeo and Juliet and two warring families. So very, very interesting. I like that. That was also quite nice. So I think OTT platforms are doing their bit. Like even Sacred Games had Cuckoo, Cuckoo was a part of the book anyway, but not so much. In the series, they increased their length and made it a little meatier in that sense. But I think OTT platforms are doing this, which I think is great. And it just leverages the community. But at the same time, I also feel that the research needs to be spot on. If you're not an LGBT person and you are telling LGBT stories, please ensure that your research is spot on or you do not tell our stories.
Do you think that's being done?
From what I've seen, yes. And I hope that Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan and Dostana 2 do not disappoint me. But I'm very happy that there is a movie like Shubh Mangal Zyada Savdhan. But I just hope that they are true to the gay person's story and don't take away from the truth.
Yeah, we wanted to know that because actually in your book, you do mention a lot of shows and Bollywood movies that had influenced you, and we all consume, movies and TV shows. So it matters a lot how they portray characters.
Exactly. They didn't influence me at all. In fact, if anything, I hated them. The portrayal of gay people.
Yeah, that's what.
back
Like, is there
then,
any growth now?
So I think there is, definitely. Like, I hope we wouldn't just be recognized by a limp wrist and the way we walk and the way we talk and, as being very promiscuous and our only job is to have sex because we don't do anything else in our lives that are worthy enough, according to other people or whatever, the cis-het people. But I think that change is coming about for sure.
Okay, so now there's going to be a small rapid fire session where we hope to get even more of your book recommendations.
This is very strange because people think I resemble or talk like Karan Johar. And then I am doing a rapid fire. So yeah, sure.
I don't see the resemblance.
No, thank God, I love you for it. But people have said that. Like I've been called Kitabo Ka Karan Johar, which I hate.
Oh, really?
But
So
yeah,
funny
yeah.
one. Yeah. Favorite book to movie adaptation?
Favorite book to movie? I think it's going to be A Suitable Boy if done right. But till now, what's the favorite is The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje and directed by the guy who made The Talented Mr. Ripley, Ridley Scott. Yeah,
Book blogging or writing?
book blogging.
What is your favorite reading spot?
My bed,
What is your writing desk like?
cluttered.
Where do you write?
My bedroom.
In your, one underrated book.
In Custody by Anita Desai. Sorry, I just love that book.
One overrated book.
One overrated book. Fucking Shantana.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it either.
And Maximum City.
I liked Maximum City.
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked it at that
Yeah.
time, and then I read it again, and I'm like, oh, you've aged very badly, and I can't read you
that's
again.
interesting.
When you reread, you do get different
Yeah.
views.
Okay, so if you had to pick one book to take with you on deserted island, what
Wow.
would you take?
Just one book.
Just one.
1001 Arabian Nights.
Oh, why?
Good
Because
one.
it's huge.
Because it's
it'll
long.
be big. It'll be long. Plus, all stories in a way have stemmed from there, in a way, and then moved across cultures and taken by different cultures. So why not?
And what's one book that you're looking forward to reading?
right now in 2020.
Yeah.
Wow, there's so many of them.
Just
I'm looking
one.
forward to reading the new Louise Eldridge. It's called The Night Watchman. It's releasing in March or February, I think.
I think I saw it on a list of books coming up in
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah. A lot of lists have it. So I'm looking forward to that book. But if Murakami decides to publish anything in 2020, hey, Murakami will top.
Oh, you love Murakami.
Love Murakami.
So thank you for speaking to us, Vivek. Like, we got so many more book recommendations and we just hope to read it this year.
Thanks a lot, Tara and Michelle. Thank you so much for
Thank you
this.
so much.
Thanks, Bound India.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Weren't you blown away by just how honest Vivek has been with us, Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, I loved his candid humor.
Yeah, and we have so many book recommendations now. I don't know how we're going to finish all of these books that he's recommended to us, but I'm certainly going to try.
Same here. And our next guest is the brilliant Amrita Mahale. She is actually a rocket scientist, like no pun intended. She's the author of the novel Milk Teeth, and we'll talk to her about her book, her creative process, and how she does so much with her time. So stay tuned for our next episode, and please do reach out to us with any feedback that you have. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Bound India.